friends. Welcome to Flosstube and Variety Show number 157. I'm Emily Williams in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Today is Friday, May 30th. Yeah, time is passing, but that's fine. We have a beautiful spring day. We've had some very cool weather the past couple of days, a high in the low 60s 2 days ago, I think. Anyway, it's a lovely spring day today. As you can see out the window behind me, we have sunshine, and more about that later, I suppose. I'm going to show you my cross stitch. That's what Flosstube is about, and Variety Show is, who knows. Listen to me. I'm Golden Kite. Golden Kite is the charter of this piece, Under the Roof of Blue Ionian Weather. And I am still on pace to finish it this year, I think. I've done another 500 or so stitches, filling in more under the arch, primarily, picking up a lot of individual stitches from the marble top there of that table. I'm trying to get it to the point where I can remove more of the gridding. But it's coming. It is coming. I've been really focusing on Jane Boyer 1831, this little sampler from the Leroy Historical Society. This is the antique, obviously. It's just a simple little marking sampler. And I've got it down to the dimensions. I have the corners, and 3 of the 4 corners done. This is vintage Country Mocha 40 count, 1 strand of DMC over 2 linen threads, and this whole sampler is cross stitch over 2. And I've said before, there's some evidence of the linen being used for something else, and then little Jane at the age of 7 being told, well, you can use this piece of linen, it'll be good enough. And so that's what she used, and not the things that were on there before. I mean, this looks like the linen had something stitched here, and it was just cut, because here's the corner of something. Obviously, this wasn't prized as much by the family as her bigger sampler that Leslie and I did 2 years ago. But this is still a nice little marking sampler. Now I have gotten down to the bottom. I turned the corner on the bottom outline border. So this is the whole dimension of it on 40 count. And I'm debating what color the thread, which of the 2 greens that are in this, that her name and the place and date should be. If you look at the back, at photographs of the back, and this is a print on my regular printer here at the house, so it's not the best print. But if you look at the back of the sampler, the pictures of the back of the sampler that Leslie has given me, it looks to me like there are 2 greens. There's a bluer green and a yellower green. See them near each other. The letters are the bluer green, and the little band is the yellower green. These letters are the yellower green. These letters are the bluer green, and these are the yellower green. I think that's right, yeah. So the question is, when I get down here, which of those greens should it be? I originally charted it in the chart that Leslie reviewed as the yellower green, but I really kind of think it's the other one. So we'll see. So I have been working on Hannah Green, the 2024 Queen of the May. Now, as you will remember, this is part of a stitch along that I divided up. And last week I talked about that I realized how it's impossible it's going to be to do these 3 big sections of solid stitching in the months that they are assigned, which is November, December, and January. That's just not going to work. It's not going to work for me. The other thing I realized in thinking about it is, so here's the plan. We would come down here and then go across and then come down and then come back this way. And here's what's not going to work. Even if you want to do the solid stitching at the end, it really does not work. It's very unwise to come at this grass area from this side. I mean, you could make it work if you were off a stitch over here with the animals. That wouldn't really matter so much. But when you get to this picket fence, that has to be right. So I am recommending, and in the description field under this video, I have laid out a different plan. And basically the plan is, I mean, we've already done A through E, that's through May, 1 line of the over 1 verse. D is the section of solid stitching down here that made me realize my error. So my thought is we carry on with where are we? So F is this one, would be for June, and start on M, start on L. G is pretty big over here in the corner. Oops, this corner. No, G is pretty small. Carry on, keep going on L. H is pretty big, finish L. I don't know exactly, but then K, then I, do something. J, do something. In other words, mix this up so that L is completed before you get down here. And then when you do K and M, it flows better in terms of placement. So L is what I'm going to do and what I recommend anybody who's trying to finish this in the year and also have other parts of your life, other stitching projects as I do, is to do L a bit at a time going forward so that it's finished before you get down here to do K. That way you're doing K from what you've already stitched instead of doing it out in the middle of nowhere and hoping that you'll meet up when you do L. That's crazy. I'm sorry. But, all right, so that's a lot of talk about that. Let me just show you what I've done. So I had already done May, which is up here in the first line of the verse. And now I have done the picket fence and the grass right around it. And I've started on the darker green. We'll call the darker green the meadow. The lines of darker green that make up the section of L. And there's some sheep and some birds and maybe a cow in that section. So that's what I mostly worked on this week. And that was not an insignificant amount of stitching there. The picket fence was kind of fun, actually. You have to count your pickets, make sure you have the right number. I counted it many times. I hope it's right. So anyway, that is Hannah Green. And then Margaret Hutton was a focus for the month. I didn't come anywhere close to finishing. You know, that's fine. It's not really a rush, but I do want to finish it this year. So what I mainly did is I finished this red thing in the middle and I put the 2 birds there in the crown. So I need to finish that green cartouche, and then there's a symmetrical arrangement of these 2 flowers over on this side. And I should at some point come back and finish this curly Q letter, and there's a couple of eyelet stitched things there, and then quincunxes is actually what they are, and then finish this red border. It goes to about here because the top element on this side is not exactly like this. It's a bigger fruit basket that sticks up into that border. Now, interesting, you see that the bird, one of the birds has pink flower or pink feathers, and the other one has blue. So it's kind of interesting because when you look at the picture on the chart, both of those birds are the same. Neither of them has blue. And in fact, the blue only appears at in this place in this chart. It doesn't appear anywhere else. And so the model stitcher, whoever stitched the model, didn't make it blue, they made it pink. And yet the chart has blue. So I'm leaving the blue in. It's possible that I could add blue somewhere else. For instance, the peacock feathers could have blue centers to them instead of pink, in order to pick that color up somewhere else. But it's kind of interesting that, and you know, it was part of the kit, the blue floss. So, but it's, you know, really nice. Very nice little sampler. So in June, I will have a different focus. I should have brought it over here, but you've seen it before if you've watched my videos. June, I'm gonna focus on Jane Thompson, which is the other sampler that I hope to finish this year. I actually think it's unrealistic for me to finish both this one and Jane Thompson this year, and Under the Roof, and keep up with Hannah Green. I think that's probably not gonna happen, but who knows? I mean, I'm gonna try. But Jane Thompson will be my focus in June. It doesn't mean I won't touch Margaret Hutton, this one, Margaret Hutton. But this is 36 count Muddy Duck with a Vera Soie d'Alger silks. So that is the stitching I have done. It feels like not very much. It actually feels like a lot of stitching, but not many things. So you will keep seeing Jane Boyer. So I'm about 30, a little bit more than 30% done with that, I think. Let me just look. I might be able to quickly tell you what my percentage is. Oh, I'm 38% done. There are about 5,700 stitches in that. So I've been working on it since May 20th. So it's been 10 days. I have this strange idea in my mind that I should finish it before June 14th. I mean, it is possible. So we'll see. We will see. June 14th is 2 weeks from tomorrow, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so that is the cross stitch I've been doing. So what else is going on? Emily, what is your variety show for us today? I hear you ask. Well, I will tell you, I don't have anything particular, but I'll just tell you what's going on around the Williams household. The main thing is that starting on Monday, we're going to have our deck being redone. We originally thought we were just having it resurfaced. And then I thought, you know, I wish it were bigger, just a little bit bigger, because it's not big enough to really use as a deck to maneuver around and sit down and have the fire pit, our solo stove fire pit. It's not really big enough for that. So I talked with a friend of ours who's a retired architect, you know, just sort of mentioned this casually, and he did us a design for it. He came over and measured things. And the challenge here is that we have a resource conservation district that runs through our property. And what that means is that we're not allowed to disturb the ground. We're not allowed to permanently, put a piling in the ground or in any way obscure the ground from being able to receive rain and the stormwater to run across it in a natural way. So that has meant that that's why our deck is the size it is, because the pilings are pretty close to the edge. And of course, it's cheaper for a builder to put on a reasonably sized yet smallish deck. And so this one, I don't know the dimensions. It's about maybe 12 by 20 or something. 12 by 18, perhaps. So I wanted it bigger. Our friend TJ Land did us some drawings with a cantilevered support system so that it could be a bigger deck surface without actually disturbing the ground. And then we finally were able to find a contractor. I mean, we worked for about a year to try to find a contractor who would build it. And I think the problem is that around here, there's a lot of construction going on, so contractors don't have to take a small job or a job that's a little bit complicated. And secondly, they don't want to work with somebody else's plans. They want to do their own. And we really wanted to use TJ's plans. So we finally were able to find a contractor, and I will tell you after it's all done how much we liked her. I think we will like her though. And she was willing to work with TJ's plans. She had to have an engineer do some part of it because TJ doesn't have an architect's license at the moment. He's retired, and finally at the age of 80, he let his license lapse a couple years ago. But it will get underway on Monday. She said it would be 5 to 7 working days, which is amazing. So they're going to demo the old deck on Monday. And I think we're going to keep our little step stool next to the back door while they're demoing it overnight, because my only concern about this work going on is that between the threshold of the back door here, which is the only exit out the back of the house, and the ground is about 5 feet. And that is a long way to have to jump for older people should we have to get out of the house in an emergency. Now, we've lived in this house, our new house, for almost 28 years, 27 and a half years. We've never had an emergency, praise the Lord. But, it just seems prudent to have a plan for how to get out of the back of the house should we need to. People have said, well, you have a door, you can go out your garage or you can go out your front door. Well, yes, but they're both in the front of the house. So those are not really two escape routes. The back of the house is one of them, and it will be not available safely for about a week. But I'm hoping that the work will actually get done, that there won't be a problem with rain slowing it down. This is the season of rain, though. And that we will be in good stead to have a new deck before my birthday even, possibly. That would be kind of exciting. Anyway, that is what's going on around here. Boy, this is a short video. What do you want me to talk about? What shall we talk about, friends? It's been kind of a busy week at my work, which I have reminded people I'm retired. I used a mug to drink a cup of tea yesterday at work, and the mug said, retirement. The pay is terrible, but the hours are great. And I would like to return to that particular part of life. And I will. We're down to 6 weeks, approximately. and there's a lot of work to do, so it's good that I'm busy there and have things to do. This weekend is the 6th round of the Sudoku Grand Prix, so I'll be finding some time, maybe this evening, to do that. Yeah. I've been helping a friend make a baby quilt, which we had fabric for a boy quilt and a girl quilt. Did I talk about this last week? I can't remember, but anyway, the baby was born, and we were working on the girl quilt. And as we were working on the girl quilt, my friend said it is guaranteed that my grandchild will be a boy because we're working on the girl quilt. And yes, that is true. He turns out to be a boy, so that's exciting. I told her I'd help her with a boy quilt as well. And I guess that is all. Wow, I have not done such a short video in a long time. I hope that you will not give up on me as a Flosstuber. I guess that's it. I hear a woodpecker pecking on my house. It's time to go outside and scare it away. Thanks so much for watching, friends. And I hope that you have a great stitching day, weekend, week. And I will be back next week with, hopefully, more to say. Many blessings to you, friends.